Hey everyone, welcome to MT Guitar. I'm really excited about this lesson today because it's provided me with so much fun over the years, and I'd really love to share some secrets about how to improvise over chord progressions. Before you click away, this doesn't just mean soloing, although we will cover that, but it also means anything besides the part you're already playing, so to speak. I can find the melodies of the songs in the triads. Right? Let's say you learn a song and you learn the part, right? Let's say I learn Learning to Fly. And the song is kind of doing that, right, forever, which is great. I love Tom Petty. I love that song. He doesn't need to do anything else because he's singing. Of course, the lead guitar player is, obviously doing all sorts of different stuff. So you might learn the main part and then think, what else is there to do? And the answer is a ton. Coming from a musician's perspective, that's just the very beginning, learning the sort of the bass structure. It's like you've got the nuts and bolts. It's F to C to A minor to G. Now those chords are moving kind of quickly, so there's other things you can do besides address every single chord everywhere, including getting really involved with the parent scale. All right, so let's start there, because I want to basically have you playing chord progressions in a much more freeing way, fun way. This isn't going to be a super serious lesson. We're going to try to make it fun. I've got my looper set up, my delay pedal and my compressor to add a little bit of oomph to my lead, and I'm going to loop some chord progressions, something you can do as well. I'll also have a few backing tracks on the Patreon. I'm going to do probably 2 for common chord progressions to improvise over to get you going, with a little study guide as well. And on this video, I'm going to be demonstrating how I would sort of improvise over these common chord progressions that show up in tens of thousands of songs. Now let's start with some theory and then I'll get to some playing. We need to know the parent scale well. All right, we need to know the parent scale. So that's the full key signature. That's all 7 notes. I'll play with my fingers just to make it clear that it doesn't need to be some crazy shredding solo. All right, if I have, let's say I go with Octopus's Garden, which is G, E minor, C, D. All right, very simple Beatles song, Ringo, right? Love this song. I do have a lesson on it. I'll link it in the description below. But this is a 1, 6, 4, 5. All right, so 1, 6, 4, 5. We want to know the parent scale, which is G major. And if you're new to this, which is totally fine, you might just want to really just shred, or shed, I should say, not shred, shed the major scale comfortably in a position. So let's start with the E shape of G. And get this memorized. You want to rely on muscle memory. It's good. Then you put the song on, and you'll realize that every note on the scale will pretty much work with the whole song. What you'll find after a while is that you're sort of aimless, maybe kind of noodling a bit, right? I love noodling, but if it's without understanding, it can give you a sense of like you're just aimless or just blowing through the wind. Nothing's really sticking. There's no memorable melody, maybe, whatever. That is fine, because everyone's been there. But eventually you'll want to graduate into something a little more purposeful and something that you're a little more, you can sink your teeth into, like that's going to sound good. That's where my lesson's going to come in here. So you've got the G major scale. Let's say you've got that. Go ahead and pause the video and shed this for 5 minutes, whatever. Now as I put the song on, let's say I loop the progression. Okay, as this is going, I'm going to start talking a little bit about what you can do from here. Well, you want to know the Roman numerals in the scale. All right, so 1, 6, 4, 5. That means I want to find the 1st, 6th, 4th, and 5th notes of the key in the scale so that I can know where these chords start. So here's the 1. Here's the 6. It's an E. Here's the 4. It's a C. And here's the 5, it's a D. And how would you know that? You would simply count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down to 4, 4, up to 5. Good. Then we repeat that in the next octave. 1, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down to 4, up to 5. It's almost like we're thinking like a bass player. 1, 7, 6, 5, 4. That's going to be important for your foundation. 5. Now, next thing I want to do is say I've got the parent scale, step 1. I've got the Roman numerals in the scale. All right, that's important and not talked about a lot by teachers, but to me it's a big missing link to understanding this. You've got the Roman numerals in the scale. Then you say, all right, go to the triads. The triads are all the rage, and they should be in guitar education because they're just mind-blowing, right? So if I play this song, by the way, I have the delay pedal. Let me turn this delay pedal on, and we'll pause on the loop for a sec. I don't have to use a loop now. It's kind of nice. So now I run some triads, and I say, all right, great. G major triad. It comes from the E shape, but it's the first 3 strings. E minor. How would you know that's an E minor triad? You have to know that where your octaves are. Here's an E bass, next E, and I'm making a minor triad. So I need to know from here, if you know your cage, this is not the scope of the lesson really, but I do have some lessons on caged and triads. I'll put it in the description below. Check those out if you'd like. This is a minor triad. All right, so there's your 1 to 6. A little trick is you can think of, here's your 1 chord. If you can find the 5, you move that up to a 6. Keep everything else the same. Automatically a relative minor triad. But I don't want to get too in the weeds with the theory. Now we go to the 4 chord, and here's a C bar chord. Here's the A shape of C. You go to the first 3 strings, you got a C. You can always go 4 to 5 up a whole step, or you can go down the fretboard to find another shape. Here's the D shape of D. So I've got 1 like to be E minor under the sea with an octopus's garden. Now I'm going to make a little bit of melody with the triad. So now I'm being free with it. I'm saying, yeah, the triad's there, but it's not like I need to just stick to the normal triad. I can make sus chords. For instance, here's a G add 9 on a triad. I just add the 5th fret first string. Here's an E minor, or an E sus 2 actually. It's not even minor anymore because we took the 3rd, we moved it down to the 9. Very beautiful. Here's a C sus 2, 1, 2, 5. I take the 3rd of the C and I make it a sus 2. These are really important things because you don't want to be stuck in, I must play 1, 3, 5, because it'll sound too predictable after a while. Maybe it's good to start there, of course, but eventually move it on to these sus sounds. D, same thing. Here's D sus 4. Okay, I could also make these 7th chords, which is a little trickier to pull off because they're kind of tense, but there's a G major 7 kind of thing. This is actually E minor 7. It looks like a G triad, but I take that root, move it to a 7. Here's a C major 7. So I wouldn't start with that. That would be a little more advanced because it sort of obscures the nature of the triad. But I would go with the susses right away. Now you've got 4 things. We've done the parent scale. We've done the Roman numerals in the scale. We've done the triads, and we've made melodies in the triads. Lastly, we're going to say, okay, we're going to do a pentatonic scale from each chord. That's going to be something that will open more of a soloing approach. So if I say, maybe I should turn on the looper for this. 3, 4. So I've got my G. Let me turn the loop to get the layoff. I've got my whole shape here for major pentatonic. I've also got the parent scale, but let's just do pentatonic for the G, and then E minor pentatonic. Now, the thing about the 6th chord is that it's the same exact notes and fingerings. Here's G, here's E. Just starts on the 6th. So that's easy. C major pentatonic. Instead of the G, I go up a 4th to C. And then I go up to D. So now, there's my playground of notes to play with. I've got pentatonic in all 4. Really, the G and E are the same, so it's just G major / E minor pentatonic, and then C and D. Let's see what it sounds like. Now I can go to the other positions. Now, but I don't want to just do that. Maybe for a practice session I would isolate it, but now I'm going to combine triads with melodies with the pentatonic stuff, so I'm bouncing back between other strategies. So let's try that. Those were taking edges of triads. Those are 6 intervals. And then moving down the scale. See? There's the G triad. Here's the D triad, C triad. So 6 are just the outer edges of triads a lot of times. Back to the work here. Back to pentatonic. Kind of a mixture of both. Now I'm going to say, lastly, the whole parent scale has more of a meaning now, because the parent scale, if I know the root notes, and this is the last point I want to make, then we're going to do some more songs. If I know the root notes, now I can play the parent scale, which is G, starting on those different notes. And now I'm playing the modes. All right, so here we go. I'm going to play 1, 6, 4, 5 with the parent scale, and I'll automatically be playing the modes. Now the triads. That's all G major. Pentatonic, triad. Pentatonic, triad. Mode. Okay? All with my fingers, nothing shredding necessarily, just having a good time and exploring the key, all right? So what if we take a different song? Let's take No Woman, No Cry. What if I just stick with the verse and loop that? That's in the key of C, 1 chord, 5 chords, 6, 4. So we have the goal of step 1, parent scale. And 1 position at least. Hopefully all 5 eventually. So C major in the C shape. All 7 notes. Now we find the root notes. Let me turn this off. We find the root notes in that scale of the Roman numerals. So that's 1, 5, 6, 4. All right, so 1, walk up to 5, 6, down to 4. Thinking like a bass player to start is a good way to structure yourself around the Roman numerals. All right, now I say, good. Now I find the triads. 1, 5, 6, 4. This isn't necessarily a breakdown on how to play triads, but I will leave those lessons in the description below. Now I've got 1, 5, 6, 4, and I've got the parent scale. Once I have my triads, then I can make some melodies with the triads. Right, it almost sounds kind of Hendrixy, because Hendrix did this a lot. You know, you find some really interesting harmonies. I'm going to put my delay pedal on and demonstrate up to there. Then we'll move on to more of the soloing. Eventually you'll find melodies. Right, if I do... Oops. I can find the melodies of the songs in the triads, right? Check it out. Just following the triads. Here we go. 1 chord, 5. I go to sus4 to do woman no cry. 6 chord, 4 chord. See, it's right there. To go to the next phrase, I have to go to the next shape, which is the D shape of C there. Here's the 4 chord. Back to the 1. So, let me solo over this now. I'm going to use major pentatonic, and then when I feel like it, I'm going to switch to the triads. Then when I feel like it, I'll go to the parent scale, which is C, and know the Roman numerals. All right, and then I'm playing the modes. Here we go. Pentatonic. Pentatonic on G, A minor, F, C. That's plenty of material. Now I'll make some music here. All right, now I'm going to do the parent scale. It's hard to pull this off. I'm already running into some roadblocks there. So, let me slow down. G, 6, 4. 1, 5, 6, 4, 1. So, you know, I'm having a good time, and it's not like I'm going to record this and make a big, amazing cover of it with those parts. But the point is that I can get lost doing this for a long time, and I have. And those are the kinds of ways that I would say I've really improved. It's when you're not super serious sometimes, and you're just allowing yourself to flow. That's one of the nice things about improvising. It works your technique without you even thinking. You're just playing. It works your fretboard. But you're having fun and you're making music, and that's the goal. Now, I could go on and on. I've got 26 songs that I decided that all would be great examples of this. I'll mention them at the end, but let me just play one more, and I think I don't want to overdo it here. I want to get you playing instead of just watching me play all the time. So, Bob Dylan, Blowin' in the Wind. Right, it's just 1, 4, walks down to 5, 1, 1, 4, 1. Okay, so it's G, then to C, then to D, then to G, right? G, then to C, then to G. Okay, classic folk song. You got to know this song. Hopefully, it was actually just mentioned in the Chess World Championship. The new world champion, Ding Loren, just mentioned how this song, Blowin' in the Wind, was a big inspiration for him when he was prepping, which is really interesting. So we have the same task of the G parent scale. Let me go to the next position. Here's the D shape, which takes you all the way down the bass as well. All right, so that's good. Now I have the Roman numerals, 1, 4, 5, 1. The good thing about the 4 and 5 chords is it's right above your root. Here's the 4, same fret, next string. 5 is up 2 frets, 1. Then you want to know your octave and do the same thing here. 1, 4. We can't reach to the 5 in this position. Of course, you could just move there, or you could go down to the 5 on that octave. So 1, 4, 5, 1, and then 1, 4, 1. Let's put the delay on. A little tappy. So you could just sloppy there, but you could just play triads and play the song before you even mess around with melody. Nothing wrong with that. Of course, delay helps. All right, so now I'm going to say, all right, let me loop this and have a little fun with this, and then sort of apply everything I've talked about. Of course, I turn the delay off for the loop. All right, here we go. Now, I mentioned this position. If I play the scale, I'll notice that this is the melody note that Bob starts on. So maybe I'll start here. All right? Can't help myself. Just do it up an octave. Okay, now I want to sort of play the triads. Shoops, and make some melodies. Maybe some. I'll do some pentatonic. How about... Right? I'm just going G, major pentatonic, C, to G major pentatonic, kind of quickly, but we'll do that again. Maybe now the parent scale with the modes. You can always throw in the flat 3. Adds a little country bluesy kind of feel. Always going back to the triads. There's a 4, 5, 1, 4. Kind of sounds a little absurd with the delay on Blowin' in the Wind, but there you go. I'm having a good time. I'm just getting warmed up. You know, when you're messing around, time flies, right? So I wouldn't say that I would just start cold and say this is great, but after 5-10 minutes of it, you know, you get in the groove, you get in the flow, and you're unencumbered because you've learned where the chords are, you've learned where the triads are, where the Roman numeral roots are in the scale position. That's a lot, but it's also a big, big picture that you're piecing together. So hopefully this makes sense. Do check out the Patreon with the study guide and the 2 backing tracks. I'll probably have that up very shortly after this video posts. Other than that, remember to subscribe, hit the bell icon and the thumbs up. Really good to see you. Once again, as always, thanks for your support. See you later.